y'all. It's season 3 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, and we humbly thank you for tuning in. Be Your Own Kind's mantra is there is never an inopportune time to be yourself. In other words, be you without apologies. In this season, I will be presenting nuggets and interviewing individuals that are creating their lane and rocking it. Be sure to check out the featured businesses in the description box and follow us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and pretty much every platform. Okay, now let's take flight. Well, hi, Lala. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Renita?
I'm doing pretty well. How's the weather out there? Where are you located?
So I'm in Paris, France, and the weather's pretty nice today. I was actually on at the cafe outside with a few friends just before talking to you here.
Oh, nice. That is on my bucket list to go, to Paris. Yeah.
Well, let me know if you come, and then we can get coffee.
Yes, most definitely. Oh, that's so fancy. So offline, I recently corrected your name. I was calling her Lala, you guys, and her name is Lala. So I'm just curious as to the origin of your name.
So Lala, so it's my full artist name is Lala Drona, mm-hmm. And in Spanish it's La Drona, and that means the thief. And so it's I have a whole what happened was when I was studying in Chile when I was around 21 years old in college, and I went into a bar and there was this guy, and he just as like a pickup line or something, he just said, I'm gonna call you the thief, Lala Drona, because when you come into a room you steal everyone's gaze or whatever. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna use that as my writer's a writing pseudonym and my artist name, and also my mother is from Venezuela, so I have the Latina roots and everything too. So
that's actually a nice thing to say to someone, though. Yeah, that's very captivating. I mean, was he coming on to you, or was he just saying you're amazing?
Well, maybe it was a little bit of both, I guess, because in Chile, like the men, they'll hit on you, but they're very gentlemanly.
Okay.
Like you might go to some other countries in South America, and maybe they'll be a little bit more forward and vulgar, but like a Chilean, at least when I was there, they'll just, instead of saying something vulgar, they'll just go like, "Hello, how are you?" as they walk by, and you're like, "Oh."
I would prefer that any day than your baby. So. So you are an artist and you use all type of mediums. Like you're not in a box. Like you do videos. You in the background we see that you paint. Let us know a little bit about your journey. Like what started you on this road?
Well, yeah, I do paintings, video art, I write, I make universes. That's the way I think of it. But yeah, it started when I was young. As long as I can remember, I've been an artist. I've been painting, drawing. My mom said from the moment I can hold a pencil, I was making stuff. So, so flash forward to 15 years old, I'm still painting and drawing and spending a lot of time. But one of the things that I think made me go really far and deep into my art is because as I was growing up, when going through puberty and all that stuff, only one of my breasts grew, and then the other breast didn't grow at all. And this is called a unilateral breast agenesis. And so I was keeping that secret and hiding it, and I was very ashamed of it, and I didn't know who to talk to. And so I think I kind of escaped with my art. I created universes, and I kind of lived there and was drawing and painting and all of that. And eventually I told my mom about it, and at around 15 years old, and at 16 years old, I had a breast reconstructive surgery on the side that never developed with a breast implant. And so I lived with that breast implant for 17 years until I was 33 years old. And, during that time I was doing my art. I moved to Paris. I wanted to, become an artist. So I always thought like, oh, I'll go to New York and I'll become an artist. And then I thought, but where do people in New York want to go to be an artist? And then I was like, probably Paris. So I went to Paris, and I've been here for 10 years now. I've shown internationally my work. And just recently, last year, I had had the breast implant for too long. So I talked to the doctor, and they said, yeah, to avoid toxicity and everything, and we need to replace the breast implant. And they also said, we could also remove your right breast and put a breast implant there as well, so that they'll look the same. And I was like, no, I don't want, I didn't even want one breast implant. Like, why would I want two? And so, I decided, well, maybe if they're willing to remove my natural breast, maybe they can just remove that and then also remove the implant, and I'll just, have no breasts, or very small breasts, if any. And then I'll be able to move on with my life, go forward, and not have breast implants or have to have surgery every 10 years. And so yeah, that was a whole lot of information for just an intro. Wow. But yeah, so right now I'm just finishing that last surgery for that at the end of this year. But yeah, there you go.
That's great, though. That's a lot of bravery in that intro.
So much information. I just kept going with it. Wow.
No, that's what this is all about. Just letting people know a little bit about you and your journey, in hopes to inspire people to live with their, to live in their lane and talk about, their journey, and I did read in your description of some of the things that, one of the things you wanted to talk about was body acceptance. So I see that this is very, very personal to you. Yeah. So when did you reach the point, or what helped you just accept things for how they are and to make that decision?
So I think I think I started watching a few videos on YouTube and looking online about breast implants, and I started finding about things about like breast implant illness, and about how, a lot of women have these health side effects and what silicone can do to the body. And although I had a breast implant that was filled with saline, so it wasn't even silicone filled, but it has a silicone bag, all of them do. Mm-hmm. And I was just afraid of any possible health. I don't know. I know not everybody has health side effects from breast implants. I didn't, that I knew of, but I just wanted to be natural, I guess. And I respected everybody else's decision, what they choose to do with their body. But I think for me, it was really, I got to this place of, I don't want to do this with breast implants. You have to change them every 10 years. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to save money, have that financial hit every 10 years. I just want to dedicate myself fully to my art. And, that means my finances, that means my energy, that means everything. And so for me, art was really that thing that pulled me through to help me make that decision, I think.
Oh, wow. So you would rather express yourself than, in a way, give in the vanity, so to speak?
Yeah. And it's hard because I'm remembering now as we're speaking. It's also this, your femininity in a way too. And your vanity, because people would tell me, why don't you wait until you're 50 years old? Just get the breast implants now, but next time when you're around 50 years old or so, then take them out. But you're young, have fun. And it made me think of why does it matter that I'm young? I need to have breasts. What does that even mean? And have fun. What does that mean? What do people do who don't have big breasts? So what do, and it started making, I thought a lot about the way society looks at women's bodies, and, the objectification of women's bodies. What are the roles of women's bodies in society? And even doctors sometimes, and what they think you are supposed to want for your body. can also be difficult to convince them what you really want for your body. And they don't feel comfortable necessarily doing that because it falls outside of what's expected, what a woman's body is supposed to look like, I guess, according to them.
Yeah, and I think in a way they're trying to like protect you from societal norms in a sense, but it's like you're also making me feel a little weird about myself, like making me feel like if I'm not this thing, then I'm not a woman. When really what makes me a woman is I was born a girl and then I became an adult and I'm a woman. Like that's as simple as it is. You know, whether my breasts are big or small, whether I'm big or small, whether I have a child or not, it doesn't make me less of a woman. My biology is what makes me a woman, not all of these crazy social, I don't know, rules or guidelines that's out there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And everything that you just said, those are, I think it's that redefinition of what it means to be a woman and redefining what it means to be a woman for each of us. And what is femininity? Is it a breast? Is it long hair? Is it no, you can be feminine and have short hair. You can be feminine and have, no breasts at all. Just as you can with big breasts as well. So
right.
It's, yeah.
And I think that's why they want to eliminate gender altogether. I'm on the fence with that just because it's like, how are we gonna, as far as like diagnosis, like how are you gonna know how to diagnose a person if you just eliminate it all together? But you're right, even when I mention biological, there are some men that biologically connect more with their, being a woman. And so I still think that's all biological in a sense because you feel more comfortable in this realm than you are in, the opposite realm that is what you was born in. So I just feel like people should just respect people and let them be who they are, how they want to look, big breasts, little breasts, whatever you want to do. Just be your own kind. Like I have to just say that because I feel like when we have to succumb to what other people's expectations, that's where stress comes in. Because we were born different and we were born to express ourselves, the way that we should. And when someone tries to put us in that box, it's uncomfortable, right? And it kind of, I saw your video, the box presentation. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but the box performance. And I looked at that video and I watched that video and I resonated with that. It's uncomfortable. You can only do so much in that box. While in that box, you can only do so much, and it got uncomfortable. And then there were times where you just scrunched in the fetal position because it's like, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna constrict myself even more in a constricted environment because in this box is just making me feel so small, and I resonated with that video. I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm like, man, I know how that feels.
That's amazing. It's amazing that it resonated with you. Thank you for telling me all of that. Yeah, it's the box performance. I did an entire exhibition on the box actually because I just thought it was a topic you could just go, into quite a bit, especially, with categories and so many categories and all of that, always trying to put you in a box as well. And yeah, suffocating in that box. And you can only do so much in a box, as you said.
Yeah. And people that always telling you to not get out the box, those are sometimes the people that's placing you in there. That's the funny thing. Like, I want to be an astronaut. No, you don't. You don't want to do that. Like, you'll never do that. Do you know how much schooling it is for that? Do you know how much? Like, and that'll be the same person. Like, the sky is the limit. You're like, but I can't even go to space. So how far?
Yeah, or I love it when it's like sky's the limit, and then you give a suggestion. They're like, no.
Exactly. So it's like the same people that want you to soar, they somehow still put you in that box. So I don't know. I could talk forever about the box. I resonated with it. I'm watching and I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly how that feels.
Yeah, and I also just thought it was really cool too, as far as how we interact with each other. Like, for example, right now we're interacting with each other through boxes, like our squares.
Oh, yeah.
Like your own digital box as well. Like I'm looking at our two pictures together right now, and our boxes are touching right now. So it's kind of fun.
And yeah, that's another perspective where your world connects with mine. We learn from each other. So I guess the box can go so many ways.
It can. That's why it was endless. I had to stop myself after a while. I was like, okay, too many boxes. Even like the paintings themselves are boxes. And so yeah, it's just in a way. But yeah, everything's a square. Yeah, squares everywhere. But yeah, the gender binary and everything as well. Yeah, sometimes it can be, I think, very hurtful, I think, to growing up. And I know of also women who, because I had a unilateral breast agenesis, but I know of women who had bilateral, so they had no breast at all, no breast tissue. And for them, I mean, there's all kinds of experiences out there, but the ones that I've met, which aren't that many, but they said they had some like gender, questions and whatnot just because of that. And it's just very interesting to think of like how important breasts are in society, and what it means to our identities, and even to being even ideas of maternity and being a mother. And they're like these like trophies or something on our chest. It's like very strange to think about sometimes. Did you literally think of trophies on a chest?
No, but now I wow, I never even thought about that. Trophy on the chest, never even thought about that.
Yeah. But sometimes I'm like, maybe this is just my perspective, because I always felt like I was lacking. Mm-hmm. So maybe I gave even more attention to it. And I've also read lots of books. Like there's a book, The History of the Breast. Mm-hmm. It's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how to say this without sounding, I don't know if I should say, but I guess I never thought about that portion because that's not my journey, right? Mm-hmm. My journey has always been my weight, so that's been my body acceptance journey, and I didn't even think about how breasts play a part until somebody I know that had breast cancer. And, she was on the fence of just letting them be or getting the implants. And it's like, that's when I really was like, I think it was years ago, I really paid attention and was like, man, that's a hard decision. What would I do without my breasts? That's when I really started thinking about them, because they just was here. I complain about them all the time, like, oh my God, bras, I hate them, but then there's someone over here that's making a decision of, man, these are about to be chopped off. Am I okay with that, or should I get the breast implant? That's why it's kind of important to just appreciate, because you don't know what the next person is going. So I became more sensitive to that, because I think sometimes the insensitivities and the lack of empathy come when you never have to face those type of questions. You're never in those situations. So, and instead of like, it's like, I never have to worry about that. What's the big deal with them? It's a big deal to them because this is their journey and this is what they're going through. If more people were empathetic, like, I don't understand what that feel like, but God, if I had to, I'm so sorry. How can I be of help to you, or how can I encourage you on this journey? Because if I went through this, I don't know what I would do. That's why I said it strengthened your story, to just talk about it. Like, I know you're talking about it casually, but it wasn't always a casual thing for you. And how you can inspire someone else that may be going through the same thing or something, similar to that, to be like, hey, it's okay to just be who you are with eliminating, societal constructs. And I'm just talking. This is your interview, but yeah. No. But
everything you're saying is I'm totally on the same wavelength. I think it's also, I think it's important for people to not be afraid of finding creative ways to try to get better too. I think that's been my journey too, is just, luckily I've had my art and performance and things like that it can help me every time to feel better about my own body and to kind of like normalize, I guess, my body. Because in the end, the problem isn't necessarily everybody else. Yeah, it's society and, the way we treat women, how we see women and portray them. But actual people that I interact with, it's not necessarily a problem with them. For example, if I've just recently, I did a recorded performance and released it where I am naked and you do see my breasts the way that they are, and after surgeries and everything, and nobody cares in the end. Like, I mean, they care. I mean, they're happy to see the art. They think it's strong and all that stuff. But, nobody's looking at my body and saying, oh, she has she has this here and she has that there. If anything, they're looking at it and just being like, wow, so refreshing to see a person, and a
Right.
person being themselves and being vulnerable and showing those things is just nice. And so, yeah, I think coming back to being creative with trying to confront body dysmorphia in any type of way, I think one of the best things I did was I did this experiment with looking at my body on the screen just to see, okay, what's my experience when I see naked women on screen. And so what I decided was I'm going to record myself naked, just walk into a room.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss Metchi checking in, reminding you to shop my exclusive collection, Lavish Looks by Miss Metchi, where we've got shades and everything that you need to look fly. Oh, and we also offer accessories. So ladies, put a little bit of razzle dazzle in your collection today. Be sure to shop with me and follow on social media at Lavish Looks by Miss Metchi. Grab your products today at missmetchi.com/shop.
This month, CBS 3 Designs will be highlighting famous TV shows. Make sure that you check us out on Etsy. Type in CBS 3 Designs and get to shopping.
Stand in front of the camera, take off my clothes, and then stand there naked, turn around, and then leave. And I decided, okay, so now I'm going to watch it back on my screen, and I'm just going to listen to the thoughts in my head and see what are those thoughts that come up. And for everybody, there'll be different voices that come up in their head. For me, I don't even know why, but for me, I saw this woman naked with big breasts, and I thought, okay, pornography because she's got big breasts. And also I felt this is a receiver of violence. That's what I felt like, but sexual violence because of pornography, like that type of pornography. And I also thought, I feel bad for this woman who's naked on screen. And those are such toxic thoughts that I had in myself about my own body, and because I wasn't thinking of it as myself, I was thinking about it as anybody online.
Right.
And so just to reveal that to myself was life-changing in itself, and really helped me not only change how I feel about my body, but notice what I was even thinking. And they're not really necessarily my thoughts, they're society or my community or other people who I've internalized. But yeah, it was very, very powerful experience.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Huh?
I'm trying to think of if I ever just like, what are my thoughts when I don't know if they're positive. I think they turned out to be, hey, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but to publicly do that, it does take a lot of strength for that. I mean, I've gotten some weird comments just showing the clothes on, like, you need to lose weight. Yeah. So to think, and you said sexual violence because of the big breasts, and it makes me feel like, is it that it would evoke like someone to violate her in a sense, or?
I think it's because of my relationship with the screen, because if I were just in front of the mirror live, then maybe I wouldn't have had those thoughts. I would think like, oh, that's just me, but I think since I was watching myself on a screen, and I mean, when I think about it, what is the relationship I have to naked women on the screen? It's usually, okay, you get a pop-up and then you have porn and you have pop-up and it's like pretty hardcore stuff, or yeah. And I think so for whatever reason, I had that connection when I saw that naked woman on the screen, and maybe that's not everybody's experience, but it's definitely mine. And I mean, and I'm not anti-porn or anything like that either, but I think sometimes the type of porn that's so popular and so popularized is not always the nicest to women, let's just say. And not to say that people like that or whatever, but I don't think all women like to be treated that way. So I don't know, in a consenting relationship, we don't have to get into this right now, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking more of a non-consenting. That's why I think my mind went like, is it because some women who are violated or say, well, if you didn't look this way, if you didn't dress this way. And I think that's going to a deeper subject, but that's what I was on the lines of thinking, like, she can't control how she look. However, it's her fault that she's violated. I feel like that's put out a lot too out there when women try to, speak up and say what happened to them. It's always like the finger is pointed back at her for looking the way that she looks.
Yeah, I think it's also easy targets too. Mm-hmm. I think when we have a society that forgets certain individuals, then they become bigger targets. And it's really, it's something we need to do. It's already hard to deal with our bodies, the way that they are, and to have a society that makes it even more difficult. It's just not fair at all. I mean, life isn't fair, but we just have so much growing to do as humans.
You were right about that. You were right about that.
Myself included, I include myself, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all do, Yeah. So what catapulted you to express yourself in more than one medium? I think we touched up on this a little bit earlier, but what was the medium you started with? Let's start there. You said with drawing, right?
Yeah. So I started drawing, and eventually, after I mastered that, I was a little bit bored, so I started painting. I started painting probably when I was 19 years old or so, and I've since being 12 years old, I've also loved writing poetry and songs and things like that. So I just, from a very young age, I've liked expressing myself in a lot of different mediums. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to put it all together in some way, just so it wasn't just random everywhere. And I thought, I'll create a universe. And in that universe, I'll be able to have paintings that show stuff in that universe. And I could make music, I could write stories and fiction, and I could make videos and movies, and all of it would exist in this universe. So I created a universe, I guess I don't have a better name yet, but it's like the Lala world, I guess. And so in this universe, it takes place in a laboratory. It's an art laboratory where there are experiments done on muses. Do you know what a muse is?
People, right? Like a subject.
Yeah, so a muse is like from Greek mythology. It's like these little spirits that inspire artists to create, but it could also be a person. So you're right, it could be a person who inspires another artist to create or whatever. So in this laboratory, there's experiments done on muses in order to extract inspiration from them, and then they give that inspiration to Lala Drona, me, and then she creates art with that inspiration. So there's all these scientific experiments they go through, and then we get the art pieces that come out of it, and those are my real life art pieces. So yeah, there's lots of stories of like what happens in the laboratory and things like that, but yeah.
Is that something you're working on behind you, a new universe, or
so these
right behind you? Yeah.
Well, some of them have like, I guess, symbols from the universe. I have drones, which they're the assistants in the laboratory, but they're very like kind of military-esque, I guess. And so you see them all in the background, and they're kind of like these icon figures, and there's just a bunch of them watching this figure. And yeah, I use a lot of gray scale. For me, I love grayscale just because I feel like we see so much color and bright colors all the time with the digital world and on the screen and outside. And it's nice to have a place where we can kind of relax and just stare for a while and not have our eyes hurt.
I'm just comparing your box to my box, and I go like, oh.
I love color though. I feel more comfortable in gray, I guess.
Yeah, you're right though, because I'm over simulating over here and you're all relaxing over there.
But gray can be boring, so I get it. We need all kinds.
Yeah, but the mind relaxes over here where I'm looking at the painting while you're talking. I'm like, wow, what is going on over there?
And I've got this other one behind me which is like half Britney Spears' face and half of my face. It's hard to see. But and it's an image of me where I was shaving my head because I like to shave my head. And one day I was thinking, I wonder, you know, because of course I was like, I just like to shave my head because I like to shave my head. But you can't deny that there have been references in your past, in your society or in your media that you've probably seen. And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, what women have I seen who have had shaved heads in my past? And so I don't know. I thought about Britney Spears and so I decided to make a half Britney after she shaved her head and then my head. And I'll probably make some other pieces where it's half me and another woman that's inspired me, like Selena or, you know, anything. Could be fun.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I remember when she shaved her hair and everybody thought that she had lost her mind, which in a way she might have just was over it. I think that's what her point was. I'm just over it. That's another person I was just like, I'm just over whatever box. Literally, they put her in a box. I'm glad she's out of the conservatorship, and they're still saying things. Some people are like, she needs to go back in the conservatorship. No, this girl has been in bondage for I think it's like over 20 years, and they're like, she needs to grow up a little bit. She didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, let her grow up.
Right, she's growing up now because she can go to the beach and she can tan without somebody, you know, following her around. Like, where's the grace? I don't understand the lack of grace that we give people.
Yeah. No, that's very true. I totally agree with that. I think everything is very extreme today. Very extreme. And yeah, and even like just Britney Spears like shaving off her head was I felt like such a symbol, like a big like F you to the patriarchy. It was kind of fun in that way. Like, there goes all my femininity, or like the way you guys define my femininity.
Right.
You know,
Good
take it away.
Right. Yeah. Good for her. She was over it then, you know. So here on BYOK, we have a signature question, and that is, if you could describe yourself in one word, what is it and why?
That's a really good one. Do people usually take a long time to think?
Some do, so take your time.
Okay. All right. One word. Free.
And why?
Because I want to be free. Like, I guess it's more me like manifesting that, because of course I'm not there yet in my journey, but I think everything I do is to be one, not dependent on anything else or anyone else, and as much as I can, and then it goes along with being free, I think, and free of I guess society's views on women or on bodies, and free of even my own ways of caging myself or holding myself back, and also freedom of thought and accepting others and other people's ideas. And yeah, I think free could be a good one.
I love that because I feel like that is the ultimate goal in any journey, right? Is to just be free from the past and just be able to just flow into your vibe, you know, be your own vibe. So yeah,
definitely.
I love that. So what do you have coming up? Like any upcoming projects that you like us for us to know?
Yeah, I have this coming Tuesday, Women's Day, I have an exhibition in Switzerland. So I'm gonna go travel over there for the opening, and yeah, that's at Powerhouse in Switzerland, if anyone happens to be in that neck of the woods. But yeah, I have that, and then I have a few other exhibitions coming up, but I don't have the dates confirmed for this year.
Okay.
But yeah, but besides that, I'm making a I'm making a podcast, like a fiction podcast that hopefully will be out in the next 2 years. But yeah,
Nice.
so I've got projects here and there.
Nice. That sounds super cool. You have a name for the podcast yet, or that's still in development?
Yeah, it'll be called The Lamb, so LLAM, and it's for Lala Laboratory Artifact Museum, because it's going to take place in my universe and in the laboratory, and yeah.
Nice. Now, where can everyone find you and watch your videos and view your art?
You can go to my website, so it's www.laladrona.com, or you can see more up-to-date information on my Instagram, and it's at Dronalala, DRONALALA.
Okay, and you guys definitely need to check it out. It is so inspirational. You are a dope artist. Like I felt like I should have started with that, but you are a dope artist. Like I was looking through, like obviously looking at the videos and looking at your art on your website. And I'm just like, wow, incredible. So keep inspiring.
Thank you, and you too. You keep inspiring. Like I think you have a great podcast, and the people that you have on here are also very inspiring. So, yeah, keep rocking it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, before we end it, anything else you want to tell the audience or share with the audience?
Yeah, I mean, if you happen to have a unilateral breast agenesis, or I guess it's also called a unilateral breast hypoplasia, feel free to reach out to me if you'd like. I love hearing people's stories, and it's just also nice to know that there's somebody else out there that's also going through the same thing that you've gone through.
Yes, most definitely. And so I hope that listeners, that you were inspired, if anything, to just be okay with you, and make your own definition of who you are as a woman, man, just as a person, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that this this interview left you inspired, because I'm very inspired right now. So thank you very much. And until next time, don't forget to be kind to yourselves, and please don't forget to be kind and show grace to others. Until next time, bye.
Bye.